Oh Canada, oh Canada. In this video, I'm going to explain you why I think that today's Canada, yes, good old Canada, the free country, is a worse country than Russia. Before you say I've gone crazy, well, wait, hear me out first, and then make your own opinion. Let's do it. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Konstantin, and this is Letters to King, where living in today's Russia explained by the insider you can trust. And if you're a returning viewer, then thank you so much, you're awesome, and you rock. Please keep on coming back for more. Pinball of Pinball Preparedness channel likes to drop bombs on me, figuratively speaking, of course. He just dropped his biggest bomb yet. In one of his latest videos named Canada Just Went Totalitarian, Is the US to Follow? I'm going to post the link to that video down below in the description section because I think that everyone must watch it. In that video, he explained what happened in Canada in late May. That absolutely blew my mind. That was not in the news in the USA, that was not in the news in Russia, and it was very little in the news in Canada. Yet, that was one of the most important and most disturbing news I've heard in the last recent months. I hope that no country will follow the suit. Yet, I find it very unlikely, and I think that most of free countries will try to pull it off. At the end of the video, I will tell you which country I think will follow the suit first. So, what the hell happened? In late May, Canadian Parliament voted to suspend all federal elections until COVID-19 pandemic is over. The elected officials are now seated in their positions indefinitely until further note or further vote. They are no longer paying the price of getting not re-elected for bad decisions they might make, and it looks like Canadian Prime Minister has just become a dictator. What? In Canada? Pinball, I'm sorry, but for the first time in my life, I did not believe you right away. Not like I thought Pinball was lying, but I figured he could have been misinformed, or he could have misunderstood something, or he simply could have read a fake news. So I decided to check myself. I called Igor, a very good friend of mine, who lives in Toronto, Ontario province, a medical doctor, worked at the intensive care unit at a large hospital, Soviet hospital in Minsk. For the past 25 years, Igor has been proudly calling himself a Canadian. He loves Canada, and he's a very good friend with common sense. Actually, him and common sense and, common logic are so close, I think they're siblings. So I called Igor and asked him two questions. The first was, did the elections really get frozen in Canada? Was pinball right? And the second was, what's really going on in Canada these days? Igor confirmed what pinball said. And surprisingly enough, he couldn't answer the second question. He said that some time ago, he fled Canada and sought for political asylum in Virginia Beach. He said he couldn't take what was going on in Canada any longer. He couldn't rent out his house, he couldn't do business straight, there's so much stuff going on. So he sold his house and moved down to the USA, to Virginia Beach. That was another bomb, because I know how much Igor loves Canada. He praised it for 25 years when he lived there, and now he's moved out of there to the USA. It's amazing. If you are enjoying this video, please like it so YouTube shows it to more people. In this particular case, I think it's important. I want many people to see this video, so please do it. You might ask why I care about Canada so much. This channel is about Russia, and I am Russian living in Russia. Well, for two reasons. First reason is I like Canada very much. Every single Canadian that I've met in my life was a nice person. It's a nice country of nice people. It's a role model of democracy. It's an example to many other countries. And the second reason is what is going on in Canada now concerns me and concerns Russia, concerns the country in general, and concerns my values, I'll remind you that I have 4 major values I live according to. They are God, family, hard work, and freedom. And what's going on in Canada right now concerns me too. I heard disturbing news about Canada before, like the country is turning too much left or the country is becoming too much socialistic. Recently, it placed people under strict quarantine, no apparent reason. But you see, I can understand those decisions. I can understand that people in charge were making honest mistakes out of fear, out of too much panic about COVID-19. I mean, that's a scary thing after all. But what they did with freezing the elections, that was not an honest mistake. People who organized the whole thing, they knew exactly what they were doing. And that's not pretty. So, Canada has decided to freeze federal elections, and it seems like there are not too many people care about it. I don't see any news on Canadians protesting, going out on the street, or even discussing it on the internet much. I can understand that too. People think, hey, it's not a big deal, it's due to COVID-19 and things will get back to normal soon. And this is where people are very, very mistaken. In my opinion, the Canadian politicians have just tasted the forbidden fruit of absolute power. They have tasted the blood. In Russia, when a bear kills a man and eats a man, then all people get out and make sure they hunt that bear down and kill him, because they know if they don't, the bear will continue to hunt people. Same with the politicians. Once they have tasted the forbidden fruit of absolute power, once they have understood that under certain circumstances, small or large, it is possible to prolong their time in offices without any elections, that changes their mindset. Now, in Canada, all the senators or representatives, whatever they're called, except for one person, because there was one person who voted against freezing the elections. All of them, except for that one person, will start thinking of one single thing, of how to prolong the conditions, the circumstances, how to come up with new threats, how to come up with new fears, new risks of COVID pandemic. They will be very creative. They will even go far as to come up with fake statistics. They will do anything, of course. Their power is at stake. I can tell you that COVID-19 pandemic has just made one huge and powerful friend, the Canadian government. Before, it had 2 friends. First was the big corporations who produce sanitizers, gloves, masks, so forth. And the second friend was the big pharma producing medicine. Now, the Canadian government has joined this company and formed a triumvirate. The triangle has become the enemy of all free Canadians. Trust me, I've heard that music before. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. In my mind, Canada has just received a new virus that's much more dangerous than the coronavirus. Listen, coronavirus kills people, and that's a pretty bad flu. But it kills one person at a time, and it doesn't kill that often. But the virus that Canada received kills one country at a time. By voting on freezing the elections until further vote, the Canadian government has created 2 huge problems. The first problem is domestic, for the Canadian citizens. A legislative foundation is being laid out to start changing Canadian political system. A free country does not go to a totalitarian country overnight. It takes many stepping stones, baby steps, to get from state of freedom to state of totalitarianism, dictatorship. And Canada has just made first baby step. That's a big problem for the Canadian citizens. And now they have to start taking their power back. The second problem is global. It's a problem for all of us. Right now, all politicians in the world, especially the politicians of the country of free countries, are watching very closely and taking notes on what's going on in Canada. And they're thinking, if Canadian government could pull it off, then we certainly can. If the role model democracy, the free country and a beacon of freedom for the rest of the world, and the Canada is usually considered a beacon for freedom along with the United States. If the Canadian politicians could pull it off, we certainly can too. That's what they're thinking. And they're also thinking, we're gonna feed it to our people because the Canadians fed it to their people and they bought it, they ate it. Our people were gonna eat it too, and I'm sure that they will. That's a huge problem. This decision of the Canadian Parliament can potentially change the entire Western world order. I hope it doesn't. Now, let me answer you two questions. First is, who will follow the suit next? And the second, why Canada is worse than Russia today? Now, let me answer you two questions I asked you in the beginning of the video. So, who do I think will follow the suit next? Well, good old USA. My American friends, you watch closely of how your politicians are reacting. Your major elections are next year. So you watch and you don't let them grab the power. And the second question is, why Canada worse than Russia today? Well, that's simple. My Canadian friends, in Russia we still have the elections. They could be crooked, they could be unfair, they could be whatever, but we still have them. We still have the elections. And you in Canada do not. That's a huge difference. Now, my question of the day. Now, I could be direct and I could ask you just the way I'm feeling, something like this. What the do you think is going on? But I will be nice and very politically correct, and I will ask you this. What do you think of this whole ordeal going on in Canada? Please answer down below in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion. Is it just me, or you also think what I'm saying is correct? You see, this topic of absolute power is, well, not uncommon to me. I have tasted the forbidden fruit as well. I have had quite a bit of unchecked power, and it wasn't pretty. This ugly thing is so sweet, it gets inside of you and it starts, decaying you from inside out. I'm going to make a video, another personal story of how I got the taste of that kind of blood, of how I got, I got a shot at seeing the absolute power up close, very close actually. That's a huge temptation, and there's nothing pretty about that. And I feel sorry for the politicians, because that's their job, and they must balance this call to power and ability to remain a decent person. And let me tell you, it's not a very easy thing to do. So in one of my next videos, perhaps there's a link right just about here, I will explain of what happened to me and how I overcame that situation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.